order with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the last meeting, from the May 6th meeting. The corrected minutes were distributed to everyone tonight. Have you all had a chance to read them and agree with them?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved as distributed. Craig, you want to
Yes, sir.
read our first case?
Yes. The first case tonight is going to be BZA case number 5-21-A. The location is 1260 Shaler Road, and the applicant is Maddox Development. The applicant is requesting that the Union Township Board of Zoning Appeals grant variances and relief from provisions of the Union Township zoning resolution in order to decrease the front yard setbacks on the two proposed lots from 40 feet to 25 feet in the R1 district. Relief from Article 6, Section 602, Figure 1 of the zoning resolution would decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 25 feet for a total of 15 feet in the R1 zoning district. The subject property is located on the corner of Shaler Road and Traction Road in the southeastern portion of Union Township. The applicant's property is zoned R1 single family and roughly totals 1.25 acres. The applicant proposes a split of the property shown as Track A and Track B on the proposed site plan, retaining the requirements to meet the minimum standards within the R1 district. The property is currently vacant with vegetation and a swale running through the center of the lot. The swale conveys water southwest across from Shaler Road, eventually draining into Shaler Run tributary. Access to the property has been planned off of Traction Road as shown by the front yard setbacks on the provided plan. Traction Road has been the desired entrance as it is much less traveled than Shaler Road and it's a dead-end street. The applicant has proposed the need for the reduction in the front yard setback to keep the two proposed home sites out of the existing swale with minor disturbance. After reviewing the proposed variance requests submitted by the applicant, the following observations can be made. The proposed variance does not appear to encourage or otherwise allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted within the district. The proposed variance does not appear to impede light or air to the surrounding properties, nor does it appear to cause greater runoff to its surroundings. The applicant shall meet the standards within the Clermont County engineer regarding locations of the home site near the swale, and the proposed variance meets the minimum standards for a lot split required in the R1 district. The action required is to approve, modify, or deny the applicant's request for variance in case number 5-21-A, requesting relief to Article 6, Section 2, Figure 1 of the Union Township zoning resolution based on evidence, testimonies, and findings of fact.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of the application? If you would, state your name, spell your last name for the record.
I'm Tyler Gibbs, Gibbs. I'm with Maddox Development.
I need to swear you in. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We're proposing to do this. We've built a few of these houses. We built spec houses. My partners and I, we're in the double digits now of building this particular spec house and a few other in the area in Union Township. We've got we got three under construction right now, one on Walnut Street, one on Clermont Lane, one on Schoolhouse Road. And what we've been doing is going into these areas that may have a vacant lot like so, cleaning it up, putting a house on it, selling it, or we'd do a tear down, build a new house up, sell it. We've done a few in Batavia Township and a few in Union Township, but we're proposing to do two here as well. And the purpose of this, there is a pretty good swell in the middle of the property. We believe if we get 15 more feet closer to traction, we'd get up out of that swell and be able to get these two houses on this lot.
Okay. Questions from the board?
No.
Okay, anyone else who wants to speak in favor of the application? Anyone who wants to speak in opposition to the application? If you would, step
Come
up
up here
to
and
the,
get sworn in.
state your name and spell your last name for the record, please.
Douglas Pavey, P-A-V-E-Y.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so
I
help you
do.
God?
My house sits directly across from Traction Lane. I sit in the back house. No. There's a house in front, and then my house is at the end of the driveway directly across.
Towards the bottom of the screen.
Here.
Okay.
Chris,
Back the lane.
this is Traction.
Yep.
This is my driveway. And my house is right here.
You're looking at having two houses, one essentially facing the road?
According to the plan submitted to us, the two houses would face Traction Lane.
Both houses would face Traction Lane?
Yes.
And you're looking at them being essentially lengthwise. Right now, there's some rather large-sized trees in the area, and the area that's along Shaler, which is actually where it's the street address is on, is a very steep drainage ditch. And there's a significant rise to get up to Shaler from there. So I could definitely see that you don't want to put a driveway on that side, and it would make a lot of sense to exit on Traction. Wouldn't it make sense to reposition those houses to actually have Traction Lane addresses instead of Shaler?
Well, once,
They would.
once the lot is divided into two lots, they probably will have Traction Road addresses.
Okay. Now, my only question really is the size of the house, if you're actually looking at putting a house in that rectangle and in the odd-shaped portion. That's rather large for a house, but.
That's just the buildable, that's a setback.
That's the
That's a
buildable
setback,
area that they
That's
have.
the buildable area? Yeah, I
Their,
really,
their plan and what they're asking for here is that instead of where the dark line is on the side of Traction Road,
right,
that instead of being that far back, they want to decrease it by 15 feet so they can be 25 feet instead of 40 feet off of Traction, to give them a little more room to build without cutting into the swale.
okay.
How many square feet is the house that they're planning? That's not in here.
They haven't said anything on that.
140 square feet of deck space.
14.
With the garage is 2,000. About 47 feet.
Okay.
47 feet wide, 47 feet long by 52 wide.
It's substantially smaller than the diagram on the lawn.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's
If
what I was
that's your
trying
concern.
to gather was roughly what the size of the house was versus the property. Because you can't go back very far without running into
Swale.
rainwater.
Yeah.
yeah, that's why they're asking for us for a variance to be able to move the home's construction closer to Traction so that it doesn't cut into the swale.
So you're gonna end up having only 50-foot driveway? Basically from the front of the house to the street?
About 25.
You're definitely gonna take down the tree then? Okay. No, I don't have any further questions.
All All right, thank you. Any questions, any other questions from the board? Is there anyone else who wants to speak in favor or in opposition to the application? Seeing none, discussion of the board.
I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem with it as well.
At least we have a legitimate hardship.
Correct. The first in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Walk on.
I make a motion to approve the applicant's request for a variance in case number 5-21-A, requesting relief to Article 6, Section 602, Figure 1 of the Union Township zoning resolution as to allow to the reduction of the front yard setback from 40 feet to 25 feet based on the evidence, testimony, and finding of fact.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Roll call, Mr. Ford,
Aye.
Mr. Walker,
Aye.
Mr. Cangrove,
Aye.
Mr. Jank,
Aye.
Mr. Hanahan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda.
Our last case tonight will be BZA case number 6-21-A. The applicant is Burton Carl Hodges, located at 4500 Glen Ridge Drive, and it is a variance request. The applicant is requesting that the Union Township Board of Zoning Appeals grant variances in relief from the provisions of Section 801 of the Union Township zoning resolution in order to add the secondary concrete driveway into the property that will eventually merge into the current driveway, therefore increasing the width within the R1 district. Relief from Section 801A of the zoning resolution would give permission to increase the width of the current driveway from its widest point of 30 feet with the additional 16-foot concrete drive from the roadway to the north side of the garage, totaling roughly 46 feet at its widest point. The location of the subject property is located on Glen Ridge Lake, north of Eastgate North Drive and south Old State Route 74. Some background information: the applicant's property is zoned R1 single-family residential and totals .991 acres. Access to the lot is off of Glen Ridge Drive. The existing concrete driveway serves a two-car garage behind the house, and there's an additional concrete that extends from the current driveway to the detached garage on the north side for a total of 30 feet. The proposed secondary concrete driveway will be located approximately 30 feet north of the existing driveway at the roadway. The drive will extend towards the detached garage, where the driveway will merge into the existing concrete, which would measure an additional 16 feet. The applicant states the second drive will provide improved access and parking for a recreational vehicle. He states the access of a larger vehicle to the detached garage is hindered by the brick columns at the current drive entrance, and it is alleged that the variance will promote better utilization of the current space, and it will not impact traffic safety, appearance, or property value within the R1 district. Secondary drive is not uncommon within the R1 zoning district, and generally variances for increase may be allowed when proof of hardship is apparent. The applicant states that without the BZA approval, storage and access of the RV will be difficult. After reviewing the proposed variance requested submitted by the applicant, the following observations can be made. Union Township follows the access management and best practices of Clermont County Engineers Office with the standard of one access into the property unless variance is approved. There's a neighboring property with a secondary access in the residential development within this R1 district. Per Section 801 of the zoning resolution, an access drive may extend up to 30 feet in width to accommodate a three-car garage. This proposal would result in a combination driveway of width around 46 feet at its widest. The proposal addresses the current drive is problematic due to the structural columns entering the driveway, which is a self-created hardship, and the proposed increased pavement width begins nearest the house and garage and does not appear to impact traffic or safety. However, the proposal, if approved, results in a significant portion of the lot covered in parking surfaces. The action required is to approve, modify, or deny the applicant's request for variance in case number 6-21-A, requesting relief to sections 801 of the Union Township zoning resolution based on evidence, testimony, and finding of fact.
Thank you. Is there anyone to speak in favor of the application? Would step up, state your name, spell your last name, then I'll have to swear you in.
Burton Carl Hodges, Hodges.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God.
Thank you.
I'd just like to make a quick amendment that I failed to mention in the original application. That is that the main issue isn't the brick columns, because we had originally had planned on widening the existing driveway to allow access. But we discovered that the power lines that go over top of the driveway itself are really low. They're 11 feet. And we already had Duke try to raise them, so that's the most we can get out of that. So with it 11 feet, we can't pull in to that side of the driveway underneath those power lines.
All right.
Any questions from the board?
They can actually be seen in one of those photos. Yeah, that one right there. You can see the line going from the lower left to the upper right. And the pole that we had installed.
Any questions?
No?
Okay. Is there anyone else to speak in favor of the application? Is there anyone to speak in opposition to the application? Discussion of the board.
Well, first, I'd like to bring up that the approval of the accessory structure was done with an accessory structure already on the property, which doesn't have anything to do with our approval of this, but I just wanted to know, or make it noted that it was approved with an accessory structure already on the property.
Okay. Note that in the minutes.
Would it be possible to move the entire driveway over to allow the access instead of the second driveway?
I don't know, but what I don't understand, and I guess I am gonna end up having a question for you. If the wires going over your existing driveway only provide an 11-foot clearance, how is there going to be any greater clearance putting in a second driveway to the,
I think the pole's
RV
located.
vehicle on the north side, which is the left side of that picture.
yeah,
And what we did is that second driveway would be on the left of that power pole that's in the yard. So the clearance over the street is good. But it drops down dramatically towards the house. Keep the roof. Existing driveway.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Could you step up to the mic?
Yeah.
Only because we have to record these, and
No, I
that's
understand.
not going to pick up. Thank you.
thank you, sorry about that.
So by putting the driveway on the second driveway to the left or north side of the lot, it allows us to go around that pole and underneath the wires where they're tallest going over top of the street. Going from the pole to the house to the peak of the roof is where it dips down dramatically.
Well, even that's solvable without another driveway.
Did you say that Duke did come out to try to move the wires?
Yes, sir, they did come out and they did move them, and they did get a little higher. They were like 9 feet. And they said that's as much as they could give us. That was some years ago. That pole wasn't originally there.
It does create a hardship. I mean, We're not just telling everybody, now you can put in 2 driveways. I'll make a motion, I ain't afraid.
Okay. Okay. You can make a motion.
I make a motion to approve the applicant's request for a variance in case number 6-21-A, requesting relief to sections 801 of the Union Township zoning resolution as to allow construction of a second driveway that would increase from 1 to 2 paved access driveways with an increase in the width from 9 feet to a maximum of 46 feet combined, where both drives will merge, based on the evidence, testimony, and finding of fact.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Is there, can I have
Yeah, there's,
a slight discussion? Is there a possibility of making this motion approved on the fact that Duke makes a further attempt to move the electric service to the house? I don't know what
Sure.
that looks like, but if they can move the wires down, they could relocate that service to the house and not cross the
they could
driveway.
they could put a pole closer to the house
They
and
could
raise
put
it
it
and
anywhere.
then run the wire down to the house. It's possible.
Okay. I'll amend that motion to include
And if it doesn't, then
the need to have Duke Energy reassess the placement and height of the incoming electric to the house to accommodate the height of the vehicle that would need to go underneath that. If that can be done, then we will not need to approve a variance in this case. If they cannot, or unwilling to, or whatever reason, then my motion stands then.
For whatever reason, other than just cost.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Well, because the driveway's gonna cost too, so.
Yeah. Okay, Scott, are you still seconding the amended motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Roll
Further
call.
discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Roll call, Mr. Ford,
Aye.
Mr. Cangrove,
Aye.
Ms. Jank,
No.
Mr. Walker,
aye.
and Mr. Hanahan.
No.
Motion carried.
Okay. Is there any other business to come before the board?
No, sir.
Okay, I have a question for you, for staff.
Yes, sir.
Have you made any progress on the research that we were,
Yes, we've been making some headway on it. I was showing Mr. Ford here, just some examples of the different, I can show you here, the different townships around the state here. There's been some larger ones in Franklin County with just different varieties of, how they interpret the code. For instance, this one here has the total floor area of all accessory structures shall not exceed 30% of the rear yard area. And then this other example here from Jackson Township bases their accessory square footage on lot sizes. So there's a lot out there, so it's weeding through it and, finding what kind of would correlate closest to what our zoning code would be, so we're working on it.
I'm glad to hear you're making progress on that. With no other business to come before the board, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second?
Aye.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.